Hey everybody, we're back. We're part two. Oh my god, part two. Anyways, jokes aside, we're gonna talk about our Generation 3 Overwatch combined Martians. Yes. No, they're not actually combined Martians. We're here to explain that. So let's first explain what are Generation 1 Overwatch. I kind of explained this in the Asmish stuff, but Generation 1, right, are of course, let's start Generation 0. I'm so sorry. Generation 0 is basically 7-hour war soldiers and early transhumans. Like, I'm talking the transhuman arms that were created during the war, like immediately to fight other humans. And those are known as term units usually. We've seen I think one of them so far. Then there is Generation 1, and that is, Alex era stuff, like, the suppressor unit, the fucking big meaty brawler over there with his shield. But that's that. Generation 2, of course, Echo, King, Mace, and then, of course, there's a bunch of other Generation 2s. I believe the Principality falls under Generation 2 or Advanced Overwatch. But let's talk about Generation 3 Oda. So Arc 2 was when we really got a good glimpse of what the hell are Generation 2 Oda. I explained it, Generation 3, sorry. Generation 3 Oda. Arc 2 is when I kind of figured it out. I described it really horribly. Combine Martians. Hence the title, right? But in reality, Generation 3 Oda, right, were a result of the human farms. For those who are not aware what the human farms are, they were originally a human, literally farms that were used to breed and create humans to then be sent on a rocket ship to other planets where the Union had made outposts for transhumanization and creating more and more assets. The results of these were the Tributionary Project. We have clones now, where the actual DNA of children were taken to make other clones. The DNA of adults were used to make clones on Earth a lot of times. But children would be sent up, and that's when we see the creation of Tributionary seasons 1, or sections 1, 2, 3. Ones being these little guys who really don't have much to them. Section 2's being, or I can't remember what the S actually stands for, but S2's being smarter. They're like the average soldier. They don't really know that they're like a clone. S1s are also stupid, just genuinely stupid, right? They have like practically no brain cells, but they can still fight, and their whole thing is fighting. And then there's S3s. These are the intelligent ones, like the actual, like, full replicas of other people, full memories, full everything. And these are known as the S3s. We've seen a few of them in lore. One of them was in Arc 2, known as Caitlyn. It was a clone of Caitlyn. It was made as CMD of the UETF for a good time. But I digress. Let's talk about the Overwatch transhuman arm, aka the Gen 3s. Generation 3s were basically created, originally started out on a lab on Mars, which is why I said Combine Martians. But the Combine are from Mars. No, but they basically were they were created on a lab originally in Mars, and they were just the most enhanced version of transhumans. Better armor was made there, better actual mechanical augmentations and physical augmentations that were done via grafting of their skin, grafting of tissue, just to make their flesh thicker, stronger, and still agile with all those missing fucking guts still. Replacement lungs using like biotechnology, just literally peak humans. It wasn't necessarily a step up from their project that was known to make the Countess Montepes. For those who are not aware, that the New Haven leadership was originally a ghost DPU, or also known as a Wraith. She was part of some project, but it's not part of that. Their whole goal was making the most perfect soldiers. Again, so that's basically the entire rough idea of what a Gen 3 Yoda is. They were made on Mars, through one of their mini lab outposts there on Mars. There's, of course, other planetary outposts as well, doing similar things, creating Generation 3 Oda, and also trying to upgrade what they've already done. And in the span of, what has it been? 14 years? No, sorry, 24 years of war, they've only gone up to 4 generations. If you count Generation 0, which you should, because at least in coding, we go 0, 1, 2, 3. That's the way we count. Yeah, I'd say that's basically it. Really, that's all you need to know about Generation 3 Oda. They are usually armed they're usually armed with similar things as Generation 2, but they tend to get the higher end gear. They also are led to the creation of Ascendant Elite Overwatch armor and the Ascendant Overwatch armor, meant to represent their like truly ascended status, because in some way they're trying to. I do believe the Union is trying to replicate in their own other ways a means to create the perfect human, as they tried before with a certain project with the Sword of Humanity. That's something to discuss later in a different lore video. That's a whole different. That's a big egg to crack, and that's something to talk about. But yeah, this is Octron video 2, made right before the event that is currently going on. Let's see. Are we driving yet? Nope. We are still waiting. But I digress. Second lore video. Woo!